So now Jesus Cardenas to kick it off. He certainly's got the leg to drive it deep and pin Wray deep in their territory. There's the opening kickoff of the 2012 season, headed towards the sideline off the left hand of Churchwell. Has it at the 1-yard line, stutter stepping to the 10, down the right sideline to the 20, finds the seam to the inside, across the 25 to the 30, a return of 29 yards. Before he's tackled by Jake Morrow along the sideline, and that's where Wray will begin on their own 29-yard line. Their lead back is Jaden Valco. Cade Reinick is the quarterback for this team. And that's where the Wray Eagles will have the football. 1st and 10, they'll mark it at the 30. What a very tight formation. 1st and 10. In a shotgun formation, looks like the Wray Eagles have it in the shotgun formation, running to his left across the 30-yard line towards the 35. And that is Reinick for a gain of 5. Jake Morrow makes the tackle.
You know, that was a lot like that single wing stuff that Akron likes to run. That's a lot how that looked, where they had the double tight and the wing on the left side. Direct snap back to Reinick. He's about 5 yards back behind the center.
Tyler Stratman, Maverick Seawald on that defensive line. We'll introduce you to the other Beat Diggers. 2nd down and 5 from the 35-yard line. Reinick in a shotgun once again, awaiting the snap, has the football, and he hands it off on the right side across the 40 to the 42. That's a 1st down, and that is Ellis with the carry, grabbed around the ankles by Connor Churchwell, or checked out by Alec Peterson. Already off to a slow start. A gain of 7, 1st down for the Wray Eagles.
The Diggers are going to have to zero in on this single wing. That's exactly what it was. They direct snapped it to Reinick. He spins back there and hands the ball off. So the Diggers are going to have to start reading their keys and paying attention to where they're blocking.
1st and 10 from the 42-yard line after the 7-yard pickup by Alec Ellis. Direct snap to Reinick. Squeezes his way for nothing. He tried to run to the 43-yard line, but he was stood up over there. And the Beat Diggers there to make the play. And leading the way for Brush was Ben Mickey, the junior. Other Beat Diggers on that defense, Jake Brown, a defensive back, along with Eddie Arribas. Be a gain of 1, we'll call it for Reinick. Alec Peterson, we mentioned, made a big tackle a couple of plays ago. Randy Baker is going to play a huge role on both sides of the football. Joe Carwin and Levi Abbott on the right side of that defensive line. 2nd down and 9 from their own 43-yard line, and a shotgun is Reinick. Awaiting the snap, has the football, spins, will keep it running to his left, back towards the middle, across the 45, and still going down at around the 47, maybe the 48-yard line. And the tackle was made by Jake Morrow. That will give him close to 5. 3rd down and 4. In the opening 2 minutes and 5 seconds from Wray, no score. The Beat Diggers have not gained possession of the football as of yet.
That's what we're watching. We're watching that Akron Ram single-wing offense, and this time they're coming out with trips over here on the right side and a wide out on the other side, but the Diggers are going to have to watch because they have that blocking back sitting up there right up behind the guard.
3rd down and 4 from the 48. Reinick got a shotgun, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and there is a penalty flag. And that will be against Wray. That'll be for a false start. That'll make it 3rd down and 9. And now that pass defense will be tested once again. They did have trips to the right and 1 receiver to the left. And like you said, Dave, they're going to spread out Brush, and the Beat Diggers have to prove they can stop that Wray offense.
Yeah, I think Wray was going to go for a, try to get a penalty on that because they were going with that hard count the whole time, and the Diggers just didn't fall for it.
3rd down and 9 to go from the 43. Again in a shotgun, trips to the right, 1 to the left. Reinick is going to roll to his right, still rolling, pressure coming, and the throw is going to be complete. A diving reception at the 41. And it's a gain of 17. And a 1st down. Jaden Valco makes the catch for the Wray Eagles on the sliding reception, 2nd 1st down of the drive.
So basically, Reinick just rolled right. It was like a waggle pass. They had a guy shallow, they had a guy deep, and they had Valco right there in the middle, and and they just threaded it right to him because that was the guy that was open.
Sixth play of the drive, 1st and 10, with the ball just inside the brush 42, backs in an eye. Reinick is going to drop the football. He'll fall on it with a couple of beat diggers right there. Just a mishandled snap. Levi Abbott was very close to the ball, but it's a loss. They'll call it a couple. And it'll be 2nd down and 12 to go with the ball at the 43-yard line. The official spot before that play was the 41.
They just switched up there and went into that eye offense and tried to catch the diggers off guard, probably looking at running some isolation off-tackle plays over on the left side.
2nd down and 12 to go for Wray at the brush 43-yard line. Reinick in a shotgun, awaiting the snap. Man in motion. Reinick rolls to his right. Will take off with the football back towards the middle to the 40, inside the 35 to the 34. A nice gain of 9 yards. Tyler Stratman makes the play. But again, the beat diggers giving up too many yards there, at least on that play.
Yeah, they ran that option over here, and they still lined up in that single wing look and brought their guy in motion really quick. He was running fast back around the backside, and they came in pushing our defensive end on this side. He needed to decide if he was going to tackle the quarterback or not. That's his job, and he hesitated, so Reinick cut it up inside.
3rd down, and we will call it 3 for the 34-yard line. Backs remain in an eye. One receiver to the right, that's Churchwell. Reinick, play action, rolling to his left, looking, throwing underneath pass, wide open, caught by Valco at the 31. Along the sideline to the 25, he slams into a beat digger, and he's out of bounds along the sideline at the 20. A hard hit by Eddie Arribas. But that's a gain of 14 yards and a 1st down for the Wray Eagles.
Well, he was just wide open. Again, it was about maybe a 5 or 6 yard pass is all it was, but because we didn't have a linebacker out there in the flats and our corner was so deep, once he caught the ball, he had a lot of room to head to the sideline and turn it upfield.
And he was wide open. 1st and 10. They'll mark the football just inside the 20 for the Eagles. In beat digger territory, 7:24 to go in the opening quarter, no score. Reinick again in a shotgun, awaiting the snap, has the football, play action, and he throws a screen out to the left, and it's caught by Valco along the left sideline, cutting it inside of the 15, down to the 10-yard line, hit right at the stick, going to be close to a 1st down. It will be at the 10. Let's see if it's enough for a 1st down or just shy. As they're going to mark it right now. Well, that's right at the stick, Dave. I don't know if they'll measure. As a bevy of beat diggers were in there to make the play. Looks like a gain of close to 10. The ball is at the 10. But they'll mark it 2nd down and less than a yard to go.
Maverick Seawald read the play, but he just had a little bit too much penetration on that side. Jumped up in the air, tried to knock it down, but Reinick did a good job of lobbing the ball right over the top of his hands.
2nd down and less than a yard to go for the beat digger 10. Again in a shotgun. Reinick has the football, rolls to his right, runs towards the middle to the 5. He dives towards the end zone, and he is in for a touchdown, officially from 10 yards away for Cade Reinick. Just like that, the Wray Eagles lead 6-0 nearly midway through the opening quarter.
Boy, it was a nice drive by Wray, though, wasn't it? They mixed things up really well. They went back and forth between that single wing look and then come out and run that option a couple times. Again, on that play, our defensive end on this side was just a little tentative. He wasn't sure if he was supposed to get the pitch man or the quarterback, and he hesitated just enough, and Reinick took advantage of it and cut it up inside.
Now the extra point to be attempted by, looks like Alec Ellis off the hold of Baylor Buck. Awaiting the snap, a little bit high, and that one is going to be up, and is it off to the right or inside the right upright? It's inside the right upright. 6:27 to go, opening quarter from Wray. Wray 7, Brush nothing on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. All right, the Wray Eagles get on the board. That was a 10-play, 70-yard drive in 5 minutes and 25 seconds, and Cade Reinick keeps it up from 10 yards away. Alec Ellis with the extra point, and it's 7-0 Wray. Dave, quite frankly, time for the beat diggers to respond now.
That's the thing. You play these preseason games to get a taste of this, and tell you what, I'd rather have it like this than a situation that where you're just playing against a team that can't match with you. It's nice to come out and have a team drive down the field on you and create this kind of a challenge.
The Eagles to kick it off. Back deep to receive for the beat diggers. It's Randy Baker. Barreling into the football. That's a short kick off towards the side, fielded by Jake Morrow at the 34, across the 34 towards the 40-yard line. Beatniggers will have excellent field position on a very, very short kick. Yeah, that might have been Ramon Tarrin or Austin Clapper who kicked it off. We were shielded off a little bit, but the Beatniggers do have excellent field position. With 6:20 to go in the opening quarter, trailing 7-0, they'll start from their own 39-yard line. John Beltran and Dave Uhrig from Wray High School. Replay to follow here on 1010, as well as KSLR.com. 1st and 10, Mitch Tormolen, the quarterback. Beatniggers have a bevy of running backs they can go to, including Randy Baker, who's back there, but the handoff is to the other man, Kyle Rosenbrock, around the right side across the 40, and he barrels across the 40 towards the 42-yard line. Picks up about 3 yards on the play for that left side of the line made the play. The Beatniggers offensively not only have Rosenbrock in that backfield, as I mentioned, along with Baker, but along the line, Corey Acosta's the center. Maverick Seawald, who started last year, Joe Carwin, Jose Rodriguez, and Victor Lopez. Ben Mickey is the tight end. And you've also got some other talent out there for the Beatniggers as well. 2nd down and 7. Man in motion to the left is Jake Brown. He's the talent. The pitch left, a hole for Randy Baker behind the block to the 45, and he slips the tackle and is down at approximately the 47-yard line. Not a bad run. We'll give him 5 yards, close to 5 for Randy Baker before he was tripped up. 3rd down and 2, and Beatniggers will take this, Dave, methodically down the field as long as they gain some positive yardage as Alec Peterson is out. And into the game for Brush is Nico Guzman, who is going to be in and out of this game for the Beatniggers as well. 3rd down and 2 for the 47-yard line. Beatniggers trail 7-0, 4:58 to go in the opening quarter. The backs are split. One receiver out to the right. Jake Brown is in motion to the left. Mitch Tormolen, handoff, left side. 1st down for Rosenbrock to the 50. Barrels his way inside the 50 to the 47. And a gain of 5 for Kyle Rosenbrock. And Dave, I like the football the Beatniggers are playing so far.
You know, they're just toying with that inside the tackle and then going back outside and just messing with those outside linebackers. Ray's running a 6-2 looking defense most of the time, and so things are a little plugged up there on the inside where they like to run that trap normally. So they're doing a good job just trying to run off tackle and taking it out there and stretching that defense out.
The Beatniggers have a 1st and 10. They've got it at the 47-yard line of the Eagles. Backs are split. Tormolen with a hard count. Back to throw. Plenty of protection. Sets. Throws over the middle. Complete to Brown at the 37-yard line. Spins inside the 35 towards the 32 before the tackle is made by Orlando Lefevre. But a bullet thrown and a gain of 15. The connection from Tormolen to Jake Brown. That looks sweet.
You bet it did. I'll tell you what, they ran that play action. It kind of froze the linebackers in their tracks, and that allowed Brown to get right behind him. Smolin just threw it on a rope right to him.
1st and 10 for Brush at the 32-yard line of Wray, trying to score the equalizer here with 4:08 to go in the opening quarter. Only Brush's first possession after the Eagles went down the field on a 70-yard drive. Tormolen head off right up the middle of Rosenbach, and he drives his way inside the 25 and carrying defenders towards the 24-yard line. And that's going to be close to a 1st down, but he's still short a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Beatniggers at the Wray 24-yard line. The offensive line certainly doing their job, but Rosenbrock helped out with that bullish running.
You bet he was running right there behind 64, Tyler Stratman, and that was that trap. And you're right. Once he got past that initial line of scrimmage, those guys grabbed a hold of him, but he carried him another 6-7 yards.
2nd down for the Beatniggers, 2nd and 2. From the 24-yard line of the Eagles, handoff left side, 1st down for Rosenbrock, trying to spin out of a tackle. He's down at the 20-yard line, but it took about 4 defenders to bring him down, Dave, which tells you that he is a strong sophomore.
You betcha. You know, last year, the bulk of his work was on defense, and he did a good job as a freshman holding guys and keeping his containment. Now he's getting a chance to run the football and doing a really good job.
Austin Clapper, a junior linebacker, was in on the play. One pass thrown by Tormolen so far. That's how much he's in his element. First and 10 for the Beat Diggers at the 20-yard line of the Eagles. The backs are split. Tormolen will hand it off to the deep back, and that's Rosenbrock, and he's got some positive yardage across the 20 to the 17, a gain of 3. Austin Clapper makes the tackle. It'll be second down and 7 for Brush, and Dave, no fancy plays here, just hard running, and it's working for the Beat Diggers.
You bet. They ran that 30. They come back here with the 20 series with a little off-tackle action. That would have been like a 27 cross, and Rosenbrock covered the ball with both hands as he leaned forward and picked up some tough yards there. The Wray kids were there.
Second down and 7 for the Beat Diggers at the 17-yard line of the Eagles. Tormolen rolling to his right to the bootleg, takes off with the football inside the 15, still running, and he's driven down at about the 12-yard line. Short of a first down, but he did pick up 5 yards in the play. Third down and 2 to go for Brush.
For the Wray Eagles defense that time, the defensive end that was on this side, nobody blocked him because we ran the bootleg to the right. But he really ran that play down. He came from behind and tried to catch him on the backside.
Look to the team at Valley View for rehab, short-term or long-term needs. Valley View Villa, stop by 815 Fremont or call them today, 867-8261. Third down and 2 for the 12. The backs are split. Tormolen with a hard count. We'll hand it off to the deep back and barreling inside the 10 to the 8 for a first down. That is Kyle Rosenbrock. A gain of 4 for the Beat Diggers sophomore, Kyle Rosenbrock, who's been a workhorse on this drive, Dave. That's already 6 carries for Rosenbrock.
Yeah, 27 yards.
And it's first and goal for Brush. Dave, this is the fastest quarter in the history of high school football. We got a minute 20 to go. Wray had 1 possession. Beat Diggers might not score before the end of the quarter.
Yeah, we're doing a good job at keeping the ball in the middle of the football field on both sides.
Receivers split out to the left and right. Rosenbrock and Baker in the backfield. On first and goal for the 8, Rosenbrock is going to pitch it right. Check that Tormolen to Baker inside the 5-yard line, and he's down to about the 3. Nice fake there by Tormolen, and Rosenbrock went through with his play, even though Baker was able to carry the football, and it's a gain of 5 for Randy Baker. Second down and goal from the 3-yard line.
You bet there were some good fakes there, but I'll tell you what, Randy Baker showed some speed there on the outside, didn't he? That's something most people aren't going to expect.
Yeah, I mean, he was extremely fast. The Beat Diggers shifting personnel. They started this drive on the 39 after a short kickoff, and they've taken advantage so far of the short field. But with 25 seconds to go, are not into the end zone. Second down and goal for the 3. Man in motion to the left. That's Stratman. Tormolen, the pitch left to Baker. Cuts it back to the inside, and he leaps across the goal line for a touchdown. A 3-yarder for Randy Baker. And the Beat Diggers to within a point. It's 7-6.
Maverick Seawald was the guy, the blocker that led the way there. He's the tackle on the left side. They go quick pitch left, so he's the guy that's going to pull out there and make the block. And he got out there, and boy, he did a good job of kicking that defensive end of Wray, kicking him outside. Baker saw that, and they were so deep in the backfield, he alertly cut it up inside in a hurry and scored.
Now the extra point to be attempted by Jesus Cadenas.
Jesus was kicking 35-yarders pretty easy in the pregame.
Yeah, now off the hold of Mitch Tormolen. He's a 4-year starter at the kicking position. Low snap, it goes through Tormolen's hands. Tormolen's going to have to pick it up. He throws off his back foot towards the end zone. It's gone. Oh, wide open was Kyle Rosenbrock along the right sideline. That was like a 25-yard pass for a 2-point conversion, and the Beat Diggers lead 8-7. We'll keep it right here, Dave, with 11 and a half seconds to go, and it takes special players to make a play like that.
You bet. That's why you practice those plays. Every single practice, you practice a couple of fires, and somebody must have yelled it out there. Rosenbrock got over into the end zone where he had to be and just kept working his way to the sideline. But the most impressive thing was Tormolen. He had to run back, pick the ball up. He was rolling right, threw it across his body with enough power to get it down there.
Yeah, incredibly impressive.
That took strength.
No doubt. Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. By the way, how do you like this, Dave? 11-play drive, 61 yards in 6 minutes and 9 seconds. We've had 2 dominant drives so far in this game. One 525, 70 yards for Wray, and that one 609, 61 yards for the Beat Diggers, and Brush in the lead 8-7, and they will kick it off maybe just a couple of plays to go here in the opening quarter. And we played only just over 20 minutes of football. We're almost done with the opening quarter.
That's amazing.
Committed to serving those in production, Ag Premier Farm Credit is the gold standard in ag lending. And you don't have to close on your house alone. Northern Colorado Title at 130 West Kiowa in Fort Morgan will provide you with a stress-free closing.
I'm anxious to see how far Jesus can kick this thing down there. He was doing a good job last year. That's one of the best things about a strong kicker like him. Most of the time, if you can have some good kick coverage, you can pin him back there.
Well, he had a great kickoff to begin the game, but the Beat Diggers didn't do the job on special teams. That's a line drive headed towards the end zone, over the head of Kyler Churchwell. It's a touchback.
That's what we need right there. Because historically, we've struggled. Year in, year out, we've struggled a little bit on our punt defense, and after we punt the ball, and then our kick return. So it's nice that he can get it down there into the end zone and just give him the ball in the 20.
Certainly needed that.
So they stayed in that 6-2 defense almost that whole time. Brush has been in a 5-2. Looks like a 4-3 some of the time. I'm not sure, how they're having to adjust out there with that single wing offense, but here goes Wray again lining up single wing with Reinick back there as the spinner back.
1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Reinick in a shotgun, awaiting the snap. Man resets. Reinick will keep the football. He'll keep it himself across the 20 to 25. Now a late pitch along the sideline. That's Lefevre, and he barrels his way across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Give Lefevre a gain of 22 and a first down. That's the end of the opening quarter with the score. Brush 8, Wray 7 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. John Beltran, Dave Urich back from Wray High School. The Beat Diggers with an 8-7 lead, but Ray's been moving the football as effectively as Brush is as we begin the second quarter. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. And after the gain of 22, they've reset at a couple of different spots, but a 22-yard gain by Orlando Lefevre. The Eagles with the football, backs it an eye, and this time under center will be Cade Reinick. He's been in a shotgun for the majority of the game. 3 seconds on the play clock, a very unusual snap there, and there's going to be a flag, Dave. That did not get underway well for Wray, and you've got to wonder what happened on that false start, considering that you're coming out of a timeout, and usually those things don't happen to begin a quarter.
Yeah, I think they were going on 2 or something. Their center didn't mean to snap it, but he just couldn't help it.
And unfortunately for Wray, that's exactly what happens with those premature snaps. 1st and 15 for the Eagles at their own 37. Now Reinick's in a shotgun. Man resets in the backfield. Reinick will hand it off up the middle, a big hole across the 45. And I don't know if that's Churchwell. And tackled after a gain of close to 8, and that instead is going to be Alec Ellis. Will be a gain of 8. And the tackle for the Beat Diggers was Eddie Arribas, along with a couple of other Beat Diggers, along with Jake Morrow. 2nd down, and we'll call it 7 at the 45 for Wray on their own side of the field. Reinick once again in a shotgun. Hard count. Reinick is going to keep it himself. A late pitch to Lefevre. Lefevre is going to be hit right at the line of scrimmage by Randy Baker. Great open field tackle, no gain. 3rd down and 7, and Baker just stayed in that lane. If he doesn't make the play, there was another Beat Digger behind him, but it would have been that much more difficult.
Yeah, that little series that Ray's running, Reinick has the opportunity. They run the guy in motion. He can either leave the ball in the guy's belly. It's kind of an option that's clear out here off tackle. It's not in there tight like you're used to seeing it, and then he has the option to keep it or pitch it. He's kind of had us perplexed a little bit with our defensive ends, but I think we're starting to catch on.
3rd down and 7. The Eagles at their own 45-yard line. 10:38 to go in the second. 8-7 Brush rolling to his right, throwing the pass. Going to be picked off by Rosenbrock down the sideline to the 30, to the 20, by himself at the 10, the 5. Touchdown for Kyle Rosenbrock. Well, caught about 47 yards unofficially on the interception return by Kyle Rosenbrock, and the Beat Diggers now lead by a score of 14-7. And Dave, he read that perfectly. He was staring down Cade Reinick.
Yeah, and he knows, he is so fast, and he just knows the game. He's seen that play 1,000 times in his head, and he's just waiting for his opportunity to carry it out. They were running that kid out there in the flats. It was about a 5-yard pattern, and Reinick had to put a long way to get it to him, and Kyle just hung out right behind him, waited for the throw, and it was kind of an easy pick for him.
Now let's see what happens with the extra point. It was a disaster last time. It was a low snap. Mullen couldn't handle it, but then he backed up all the way to the 25 once he picked up the football and threw it into the end zone in the waiting arms of Rosenbrock. And a high snap that time. His extra point is up, and that one is right down the middle. 10:25 to go, second quarter. Brush 15, Wray 7 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. The Big Diggers trailed early 7-0, but 50 unanswered points as they got a 3-yard run by Randy Baker, a 2-point conversion pass from Tormollen to Rosenbrock, and then on the fourth play of that sequence by Wray, Kyle Rosenbrock stepped right in front of the receiver, and he picked it off when unofficially 47 yards for a score. Beat Diggers now with a 15-7 lead, and Rosenbrock, only a sophomore, already making an impact on both ends of the field.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's just a good player, and his brother, he was at every one of those games watching his brother do it, so he knows.
Remember the game Joe had 2 years ago on special teams? I think a punt and a kickoff return for a score.
Yep.
But Dave, this really only matters if it can translate to a victory, and the Big Diggers' individual accolades are great, but they need this win just to get the season off to the start they want to get it off to. Godinez runs towards the football. He booms it low, bounces at the 12-yard line, picked up at the 6, straight ahead to the 20-yard line is Churchwell. Then he is slammed down at about the 21. And the first man in on special teams was Christian DeLong, a senior. And now Wray has to think about the passing game a little bit more now, Dave.
They had some good luck throwing the ball, but they're going to have to be a little smarter with their choices. That last time, that pick, I'm telling you, Reinick was over here about in the middle of the field, and he threw it all the way. The kid was more than halfway between the hash mark and the sideline. That was a long ways to throw an out pattern.
He stared him down for a while, Dave, and Rosenbrock, like I said, he just read his eyes.
Yeah.
1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. The Beat Diggers lead the game 15-7, 10:19 to go, second quarter. Reinick in a shotgun. Has the football, spins, looking to throw, still looking, throws it to his right, wide open, caught at the 37, along the left sideline to the 50, inside the 50 to the 40, down at the 37-yard line, wide open was Ryder Senta, and that is a gain of 42 yards and a Wray first down.
There was a couple of really good takes back there. The whole team thought that they handed the ball off. They're watching that spinner back there. They're a little nervous about that single wing look, and they just caught us on this backside. The strength was on the right side. They threw it over here on the weak side, and we didn't have a safety or anybody over here to pick it up.
Wide open. 1st and 10 from the Beat Digger 37-yard line. Again, Reinick in a shotgun in a tight formation. Awaits the snap. Has the football, spins, hands it off on the left side to Ellis. Ellis still spinning out of a tackle to the 35-yard line, then driven back. The gain of 2 on the play. Several Beat Diggers in to make that tackle, including Randy Baker as well as Joe Carwin. 2nd down and 8 to go for the Eagles at the Beat Digger 35.
Ray's doing some audibles up there. I noticed the blocking back that lines up behind the guard. He looked out here at the wing back over here to see, who the wing back was going to block so they could trap him. So the Diggers really have to zero in on what that little blocking back behind the guard's doing.
2nd and 8 from the Brush 35. Orlando Lefevre resets. And there will be a tackle in the backfield. No, getting away is Reinick up the left sideline to the 30, and Rosenbrock couldn't bring him down. Now he's down at the 25-yard line. Tackled by Alec Peterson. That should have been a 5-yard loss as a Beat Digger. Reinick wrapped up at the 40. Instead, it's a 10-yard gain for Cade Reinick.
Yeah, 36 yards he's got now on the game on 7 kids. I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of strength. He's a big kid standing back there, and we try to tackle him. He's about 6'1", 180 pounds, and just didn't have the strength to bring him to the turf.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at the Beat Digger 25-yard line. Brush with a 15-7 lead on Wray. 3-yard run by Randy Baker, a 2-point conversion, and a 47-yard INT return by Kyle Rosenbrock. Underclassmen have scored the points in this one for the Beat Diggers. Reineck with the football off the snap, runs towards the middle, inside the 20, running strong to about the 19. Initial contact by Jake Morrow and Maverick Seawald, but still a gain of 6 for Cade Reineck, 2nd down and 4 for the Eagles.
The 13 plays Reineck's had combined, none of the other players have had near that many chances. Diggers really going to have to zero in on that one guy.
Stubbs Gas and Oil at I-76 and Highway 39 in Wiggins. Don't delay and get there today to see why convenience is Stubbs' middle name, Stubbs Gas and Oil. 2nd down and 4 for Wray at the Beat Digger 19. 8:17 to go, second quarter. Beat Diggers lead by 8. Shotgun snap. There's the handoff on the left side. A big hold to the 15-yard line for Alec Ellis. He spun down there. A gain of 4, close to the first down. Maybe not 4. Randy Baker makes the play. I think he's going to be short of the marker. So they'll mark it, at the 15, but it'll be 3rd and inches to go after that run by Alec Ellis.
Yeah, just really good fakes. I'll tell you what, nobody knows where that football is out there.
3rd down. And a couple of feet to go. Not automatic, but the way Wray is moving the football, it looks automatic. From shy of the 15-yard line. Again, Reineck in a shotgun. Awaits the snap. Still waiting. Has the football. Hands it off on the inside. Running left to the 10. Towards the 5 is Lefebvre. 1st and goal. He got to the 5 as looked like Eddie Arribas was over there to try to bring him down. But just way too effective for Wray. And that's a gain of 10 for Lefebvre. 1st and goal for the Eagles.
Yep, they're just really putting a lot of pressure on our defensive ends, and defensive ends haven't been able to respond. A lot of that's just because of all those great fakes. And you got that quarterback back there that's spinning around. You're not sure where the ball is and having a hard time figuring out who you need to key on.
1st and goal for Wray at the 5-yard line. The deep back once again is Alec Ellis. Under center is Reineck. Takes the snap. We'll hand it off to Ellis, running off left tackle to the 2 to the 1. He dives. Touchdown for Alec Ellis from 5 yards away. The Eagles are to within 2. Brush 15, Wray 13.
You know, the Eagles are really controlling that line of scrimmage when they're on offense, and just they have our defensive line on our heels, and they just have us guessing out there. So the Diggers just have to settle down and try to remember what their keys are and play assignment football and not concentrate so much on the action in the backfield.
No doubt about that. And looks like they'll go for 2. And try to tie this game up. In the backfield are Balco and Ellis. Under center is Reineck. The 2-point conversion is Reineck still awaiting the snap. Has the football, rolls to his right, looking to throw. Man, wide open. That is caught by Balco. Just over the goal line. It's a 2-point conversion. 6:57 to go before the break. Rush 15, Wray 15 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. John Beltran, Dave Uhrig, back from Powell Field. 79-yard drive. That was a... 79-yard drive for Wray. No problem there for the Eagles. 3 minutes and 22 seconds. It went 7 plays, and the touchdown was scored by Alec Ellis from 5 yards away, 2-point conversion pass, caught by Jaden Balco. Dave, we've been here before, and I mean in more ways than one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Every time we're here, it's a shootout.
Yeah, we laugh ourselves through the first quarter knowing it only takes 21 minutes, and we're thinking, we're going to be home by 10 o'clock tonight if it keeps us up. And I'll tell you what, they both have each other's number.
Right, we should be out of here by 10 o'clock, not home by 10 o'clock.
See what, the Diggers better be ready. Wray has nothing to lose. They could go with the short kick again, and need to be prepared for that onside stuff.
Yeah, it looks like Austin Clapper to kick it off, and that is going to be a short kick. It'll be caught at the 22, straight ahead to the 25. Running to his left is Peterson to the 30. Has a seam across the 35, along the sideline to the 40, and then he's wrestled down at the 42. And that could be a late hit against the Eagles as well, a face mask, and Dave, that should be the 15-yard variety.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a penalty against Wray. I'll tell you what, Peterson did a good job coming up and catching the football, and then he kind of stutter stepped, took it all the way from the right side of the field as they're heading south. He took it all the way from this side over in front of the Digger bench. Did a good job of running that thing back.
All right, now the initial indication and the final indication being the same thing. Personal foul, face mask. That should place the football at the 44-yard line. And that's where the Beat Diggers will have it, the 44 of Wray. That's a huge mistake by the Eagles.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a personal foul because Alec Peterson grew up in Wray a lot of his life. So those kids are probably mad at him for joining the winning team. So that they were probably out to get him a little bit. No, I'm just joking.
1st and 10. No, I know. 1st and 10 for the Beat Diggers at the Wray 44-yard line. Although he did take a shot on that one at the end, even without the face mask. The backs are split. Tormolen's going to hand it off right up the middle. A nice hole across the 40. Breaking a tackle inside the 40 to the 37 for a gain of 7 is Kyle Rosenbrock. He took no prisoners there, figuratively speaking. 2nd down and 3 for the Beat Diggers.
It just covers that ball with 2 hands. They run that trap up the middle and some good blocking on that offensive line, against that 6-man front. Sometimes that's tough to run against up the middle, but the Diggers didn't care. They just ran right at him.
Well, you can't identify one player to make the tackle because he never tackled by one man. 2nd down and 3 for Brush at the 37-yard line of Wray. 15-15, 6:08 to go, 2nd quarter. Backs are split. Tormolen's going to roll to his right, looking to throw, still looking, still rolling, and now stops and then goes down. He's sacked back at the 38-yard line, spun down by Carl Dennett. And not a big loss, though, Dave, only a loss of 1, so it goes down as a sack, but a very minimal one at that.
Yeah, he just ran that bootleg right,
and nobody was open.
Nobody was open. They had some good coverage over there, and he waited. He was trying to get that fake there and try to free somebody up. Those receivers, when they get over here by the sideline, they've either got to head upfield or come closer. Come back to the quarterback. They got to make themselves get open.
3rd down and 4 from the 38. Receiver out to the left. And now Stratman in motion to the left. The pitch left, a big hole on the outside to the 36-yard line, and that's about it. As it closed quickly, trying to get out there was Eddie Arribas, but he picked up a couple of yards before he was taken down, and now there's no doubt that Randy Dreitz will go for it on a 4th down and 2 as he was clipped along the right sideline.
Tell you what, if this was a big enough game and you needed it, I'm telling you, I bet you Cardenas could kick it from there.
Well, he could. That'd be about a 53-yarder. Letter jackets, T-shirts, and more. Bijou T-Quest at 302 Main Street in Fort Morgan for all of your sports apparel. 4th and 2 for the Beat Diggers at the Wray 36. Rosenbrock and Arribas in the backfield. Tormolen is going to bootleg right. He should have the 1st down. Plenty of running room towards the outside. Stutter steps inside the 35, and he dives to the 29. That's Mitch Tormolen with a gain of 7 as Austin Clapper made the play, and the Beat Diggers continue with possession of the football.
Roddick's upset. He thinks he got held out here as he came up to try to make the tackle. But bottom line is, he stepped up. Tormolen saw that. He made a little jab step and cut it up inside of him. There was no way Roddick was going to make that tackle.
1st and 10 for the Beat Diggers at the 29. Brush 15, Wray 15 with 4:22 to go before the break. And I thought he was tackled in bounds, Dave. They haven't restarted the clock yet. Yeah, the clock is not restarted. I'm not sure why. That play was in bounds. On 1st down, Tormolen, play action, looking to throw, rolling to his left, pressure coming, throws off his back foot towards the end zone, touchdown! Wide open was Randy Baker, and the Beat Diggers lead 21-15 on a 29-yard toss from Tormolen to Baker.
I'm telling you, again, it showed strength. This time he had to roll left. He was eluding a potential sacker, and he throws the ball kind of off his back foot. He wasn't even able to take a step to throw it. Showed a lot of strength, and that defender from Wray was trying to close in and try to at least knock the ball down. But Tormolen just showed a lot of guts throwing that ball down there like that.
Again, 42-31 Wray 2 years ago, 58-38 10 years ago in favor of Wray, and another shootout. The Beat Diggers looking for the 7-point advantage. Tormolen will hold. Jesus Cardenas to attempt the extra point. There was movement along the left side, no flag, and now there is a flag. Looked like Jake Brown picked up his stance a little bit, and that would equate it to probably about a 24-yard extra point. And Dave, that might not be a bad thing. Yeah, get some practice for Jesus.
You bet. Let him kick it a bunch. He doesn't get very many chances to do that.
Yeah, false start by the Beat Diggers. And here we go with a longer extra point. 2 2-point conversions in this game, one for each team. We've had a low snap and a high snap on Brush's side. Let's see if this one is perfect. That one is a high one again. Cardenas' extra point is up, and that looks good. It is good. 4:14 to go, second quarter. Brush 22, Wray 15 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. The Beat Diggers score again. A 5-play, 44-yard drive in 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Randy Baker with a 29-yard reception, his second touchdown of the game, on a terrific throw from Mitch Tormolen.
That had to have been hard to catch, because it took a long time for it to get there. And he was backpedaling. It's not like he was running and throwing out in front of him. He was kind of backpedaling his way into the end zone when he caught it.
Yeah, he was. But Baker's got terrific hands. I mean, we found that out last year throughout the entire season and in the playoffs as well. Jesus Cardenas to kick it off, and he booms it high, fairly short, though, along the sideline, fielded to the 15, across the 20 to the 25 is Churchwell, and he's barreled down there. Baker, the first one in on special teams, but also out there for Brush, was Nico Guzman. And by the way, we will have a player of the game coming up later on as well, as Wray has the football at their own 25-yard line.
Baker, when he made that tackle, it was kind of like in All-Star Wrestling in the old days, like a flying mare. Some of those guys jump up in the air and hit them sideways with the side of their belly.
Right.
That's kind of how that tackle was.
First and 10 for the Eagles. Well, the Beat Diggers up 22-15. And as Dave mentioned at the outset, Mitch Tormolen had a touchdown pass in every game last year, including the playoffs. That streak continues tonight. That means 14 in a row. Reineck in a shotgun right now. Man in motion. Reineck with the football. Will hand it off towards the middle and running across the 25 to the 30 as he holds the football as long as possible until he reads that defense. The gain of 5. And on the play, that was Alec Ellis on the carry. Boy, it's hard to see the ball carrier, especially when it's all crowded in the middle. Beat Diggers with a couple of men in on the play, including Eddie Arribas.
Last few years playing against Brian Christensen and Akron's rubbed off on Wray, and they're doing a good job running this offense.
Second down and 5 from their own 30-yard line. Reineck once again in a shotgun. Resetting in the backfield is Churchwell. And there is the give up the middle, a big gain across the 35 to the 40. Tackle made by Eddie Arribas, but not before Jaden Valco was able to advance 10 yards for a first down, a rare carry for Valco.
See, Valco gets open on those passes and on that run because he's the blocking back. He's the guy that's lining up right behind the guard. You forget he's even there because he runs out and traps people on it. He's like a pulling guard. And then they snap it right to him that time and catch us off guard.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Greg Mullen is there. Let Greg Mullen work with you to get the discounts you desire and the coverage you need. State Farm agent Greg Mullen. First and 10 from the 40. Reineck awaits the snap out of the shotgun. Play action spins, looking to throw, still looking. Out to his right, that pass going to be incomplete. Well defended by Jake Brown. The intended receiver was Austin Reed, the 6'3", 190-pound senior. Second down and 10, and that's as well as the Beat Diggers can defend the pass.
Yep, they did a good job. They had 2 guys there and another one on their way. And on his backside, they still had people over here to help cover the pass there because that was one of the big plays that hurt them earlier.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Reineck's thrown for 83 yards, 6 attempts. Only had that one incompletion, that one interception.
It will be second down and 10 at their own 40-yard line. Reineck in a shotgun. Stutter steps, going to run up the middle, across the 40 towards the 45. Initial contact made by Victor Lopez, but he grabbed him high before other Beat Diggers hit him low. Third down and 5 for the Eagles on their own side of the field. 3 minutes to go, second quarter. Brush 22 and Wray 15.
Yeah, he kind of caught that snap and then chopped his feet a little bit. Looked like he was going to throw it, but it was just a delay, like a delayed draw.
On 3rd and 5, 2 receivers split out each side. Reineck again in a shotgun, has the football, 2-step drop, throws over the middle, the pass is incomplete. Off the hands of Austin Reed. He was open at the 45. 4th down, very catchable, maybe a little bit behind him, but not too much, Dave. He should have caught it. The Eagles will have to punt.
Well, he threw it hard. That was a hard pass. You know, it was on a rope, that's for sure. And just went right in between his hands. Luckily for Brush, he didn't catch it, because had he caught it, he would have had a first down by 10 yards.
Bay Diggers have to stay disciplined defensively here. Alec Peterson back deep to receive because it is a 4th and 5, and the Eagles call a timeout. 2:39 to go, second quarter. We'll take it with them. Brush 22, Wray 15 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Wray will punt here on a 4th and 5 at their own 45 with 2:39 to go, second quarter. And Kyler Churchwell will be punting for the Eagles. Alec Peterson back to receive. But the Bay Diggers have got to watch out because, Dave, when you have a shootout here, you can't afford to lose possession of the football. So Wray could do something odd here off the timeouts, knowing that Brush gets the football first in the second half. End over end, Peterson will call for a fair catch. He's got it at the 17-yard line, and that's where the Bay Diggers will have possession of the football once again, and we have not seen Tyler Stratman on the field as a punter, and that's good news for Brush.
I was watching him punt before the game. He had some nice tight spirals, pretty high ball going down there. I'll tell you what, Peterson did a good job fielding that punt. It was end over end, and it was one of those ones that was coming in quick, so he did a good job catching it.
Yeah, those are not easy to catch.
If he had his druthers, though, I bet he wished he wouldn't have called that fair catch because he had a little bit of room there to run it.
He certainly did. Now, the question is, do the Bay Diggers utilize much of the ground game now? Because, after all, they've got their complement of timeouts. 1st and 10. Oh, they're going to trips to the left at their own 17-yard line. Tormolen's going to hand it off right up the gut. A big gain across the 20, and Rosenbrock breaks a tackle at the 24, along the sideline to the 40-yard line. Back to the inside, and he's down at the 50. That's a gain of 17, and we might have a late flag against Wray as well. I checked out a gain of 33, not 17. It went for the 17. Let's see where they officially spotted. I thought it was the 50. That would be a gain of 33, and let's see if they tack on 15 more.
68 yards now for Rosenbrock on 8 carries. But I'll tell you what, he had some good blocking there. I didn't catch which Digger it was, but he had to come back and pick up a block to help free Rosenbrock up so he wouldn't have got caught from behind. And, boy, I wish I would have seen who made that block because it was a beauty, and that's what sprung him open.
Late hit against Wray. It'll place the football at the 35-yard line. Now, Dave, the Bay Diggers don't have to worry about putting the ball in the air because they moved the ball down the field 48 yards on one play thanks to the 33-yard gain by Rosenbrock and the 15-yard penalty. But now you want as little as time as possible before the end of the half. The lone setback is Rosenbrock from the 35. 1st and 10. Tormolen back to throw, still looking. Throws to his left and passes in, drop. Should have been intercepted. At the 15-yard line, it was airmailed, and Ramon Tarrant had it right in his hands. The Bay Diggers get a monumental break.
Yeah, so Tormolen's thrown for 44 yards on 3 attempts. But like you said, it was a straight drop back, about a 7-yard or a 7-step drop. And he just set up and threw the ball, and I don't think he's used to having that much time because he just put a little oomph on it.
Well, you're going to have issues at the beginning of the season, Dave, gaining chemistry with your receivers. They have to still learn to adjust and run those routes right. 2nd down and 10 for the 35. 3 receivers to the left. Once again, the lone setback is Kyle Rosenbrock. Let's see if he gets the football. He does, right up the middle. He barrels his way inside the 35. Short gain, maybe to the 33, maybe the 32. And we do have a flag down on the play. Timeout. 3-yard gain. Bay Diggers call a timeout. It'll be 3rd down and 7 to go. We've got 2 minutes, and even 2 minutes to go. Second quarter, Brush 22, Wray 15.
Wray brought some heat. They're expecting the pass, and you could see that they were sending their defensive ends and putting a lot of pressure on them. That time, Rosenbrock got the handoff. Didn't surprise them, but the linebackers did a good job stepping up, and they're tackling nice and low, too, so it's not giving him the chance to carry people like they were doing earlier in the game.
That timeout brought to you by Ehrlich Toyota East. Whether you're in the market to purchase a new or pre-owned vehicle, Ehrlich Toyota East at 1209 Main Street in Fort Morgan will professionally fit you into the car or truck of your choice, serving all of Northeast Colorado. That's Ehrlich Toyota East. 3rd and 7 for the Beat Diggers at the 32-yard line of Wray. Dave, no doubt this is 4-down territory with a 7-point lead. If they were closer in with less time, they might think about a field goal, but with 2 minutes to go before the break, this is huge for Brush. They can open up a 2-possession lead and then open up the second half of the football.
Right, they get to receive that kick after the half. We'll see what they do here. They have so many weapons out there. You got Rosenbrock who can pick up 40 yards running a trap up the middle, and got Baker who can scream it outside if they get him the quick pitch. We'll see what they do.
3rd down and 7 from the 32. Again, trips to the left. Rosenbrock, the lone setback. Tormolin, back to throw. Still looking. Backs up, throws along the sideline. Wide open. That pass is gone. So about the 26-yard line, very close to the first down. It was caught over there by Alec Peterson. It's a gain of 6, but short of the first down. Beat Diggers will go for it, you would think, on 4th and 1.
Yeah, they got 1 yard to go. The way this offense is running, unless they fumble it, I don't see them being stopped.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. The clock is running, which is good news. 1:25 to go. Beat Diggers still have a couple of timeouts remaining. 4th down and 1 from the Wray 26-yard line. Backs are split. On 4th down, quarterback sneak, and Tormolin's got the first down as he dives to the 24. About a 2-yard sneak there, Dave.
It was a good one. Corey Acosta is center up there in front of him, got a good low surge in front of him, and Tremolin just kind of dove over the right side there in between the center and the guard and did a good job of picking up that first down. That's a beautiful thing with a veteran. They know where they have to get for that first down, and that's a lot of it.
1:05 to go, clock moving. 1st and 10 for Brush at the Wray 24-yard line. Tormolin, back to throw, looking, over the middle, wide open, the pass is dropped by Baker. He had it right there at about the 7-yard line, but was trying to catch and run at the same time. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
He was waving his hand right away. He wanted that. It was like an 81 dump. He was wanting it right away, but Tremolin couldn't get it there. And then when he was going to go catch it, he was actually coming back to the quarterback, and he was going to loop around that defender. He was trying to put a move on at the same time, and I think he just took his eye off the ball.
Beat Diggers can still run the football here. They've got the timeouts. At least 2 remaining here. On 2nd down and 10 for the 24-yard line of Wray. Brush leading 22-15. Receivers split out to the left and right. Tormolin, quick drop, looking to his right, throws it out there. That pass is incomplete. Intended for Alec Peterson at about the 22. Not much with that play. Even if Peterson caught it, he wasn't really going anywhere. 3rd down, 49.1 seconds to go before halftime.
That was one of those plays where it's just a long ways over there when that receiver gets out there. Tremolin doesn't throw the ball right away. That's a 30-yard pass to get it all the way to the sideline.
Could set up in field goal territory if the Beat Diggers pick up 4 or 5 yards, but instead they're going to call a timeout brought to you by Ehrlich Toyota East with 49.1 seconds to go and a very fast-moving first quarter transferred to a slow-moving second quarter. This is 10-10 KSIR, Brush, Fort Morgan, Greeley. I'm John Beltran with Dave Urich. Opening game of the 2012 high school football season. The Brush Beat Diggers, who went undefeated during the regular season last year, trailed early 7-0, scored 15 unanswered points, and the teams traded touchdowns. Wray did counter with a 2-point conversion on their second touchdown. Randy Baker has 2 of the 3 scores. Kyle Rosenbrock came through with a interception return of approximately 47 yards, which at that point gave the Beat Diggers an 8-point lead. You don't have to travel out of town to receive the best and most advanced hearing health care. Visit Platte Valley Hearing Center, 409 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan, and your one-stop center for projects around your home, office, or yard. Ackley Building Center. They now carry appliances. Ackley Building Center, 1402 Mill Street in Brush.
Diggers are a little confused out there trying to get people around. They brought Peterson back into the backfield.
We 3rd down and 10. At the 24, Tormolen looking to throw, still looking, runs out of pressure, still running out of pressure, stiff arms, throws on the run, intercepted by Austin Reed. Picked off at the 14-yard line. And Wray will have the football with 41 seconds to go before the break.
He had a lot of pressure on him. You know, he was avoiding the pressure. He had pressure coming from behind him after he rolled out. You know, he just made a bad choice there, throwing into a lot of coverage. I think he had somebody open in the back of the end zone, but, you know, it's kind of tough to throw it over there when you can't see him because you're avoiding tacklers. So he did a good job of bringing some pressure, and maybe one of those plays that, you know, later on in the season, it's good to learn from that. Schmollen will just know to throw it away next time.
Ray's got 2 receivers put out each side. Let's see if they can score before the end of the half. They got a long way to go, 86 yards to go. Reinick in a shotgun. As the football bobbles, takes off with the football across the right side, spinning towards the 18-yard line. Stood up very nicely. That was a nice hard tackle made along the side by Tyler Stratman. It's a gain of 4 to the 18 by Cade Reinick. And I think Wray is just going to let the clock run out. No timeout being called. 15 seconds to go. Oh, do they have to run a play? Looks like they're setting up to run a play. Reinick is way back there now. That's a deep shotgun. And instead, Reinick's going to take the snap. That was just a running back well behind Reinick. He takes a knee, and that is the opening half with a score. Brush 22, Wray 15. This is 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
You know, the Diggers are lined up to receive the football. They got 5 guys up there between the 45 and the 50, just a typical return position. They got those 2 outside guys that are up there on about the 35, between the 35 and the 40. Those are the guys that usually block those guys that are the guys on the kickoff team that are coming down, the headhunters that are coming down to make the tackle. And then we got our back 4 guys are kind of more in a diamond shape, with Rosenbrock being the up man and Peterson over here on the right side, and Baker back there in the back, and here goes Wray.
Austin Clapper to kick it off as we begin the second half. Another short kick. It's going to bounce at the 28, picked up at the 24 by Peterson, running to his left to the 25, turning on the afterburners, but too late. Down at the 27-yard line. He made that decision a little bit late, and Alec Ellis made the tackle. The Beat-Diggers have their worst field position, maybe the worst field position of the game. Well, they did start at the 17, but it's still not favorable field position at the 26-yard line.
You know, he was off and running. It was going to look the same as his last return, but that time we just didn't pick up a block. Ellis ran right up the middle, and our blocker ran right past him to pick up somebody else.
1st and 10 for the Beat Diggers at their own 26-yard line. The backs are split. Mitch Tormolen is the quarterback. He will send a man in motion to the left. That's Randy Baker. Handoff right up the middle. A huge hole across the 40 to the 50-yard line. Eddie Rivas inside the 40. Eddie Rivas breaking a tackle and stumbles inside the 25. He was nearly gone. And we got a late flag. 24-yard line is where Rivas ends up. Now let's see what the call is. That would be a gain of 50 for Eddie Arribas, but we have 2 flags. One along the Wray sideline that was just picked up, and one at the Beat Digger 42.
Just a 24 dive there for Arribas. I'll tell you what, nothing fancy. They just ran right at him and caught Wray on the defense on their heels, and they didn't know what happened. I think they were focusing on the wrong guy.
Beat Diggers are going to get backed up. Looks like they could still get close to a first down because it was way down the field. It was 16 yards down the field where the flag was thrown. This has got to be some sort of hold.
Bad thing is it's clear over there on the Digger sideline,
which had nothing to do with the play.
The ball was ran up the middle, and so that's a hold that happened clear out there where it was nowhere close to the action.
All right, Dave, a gain of 16 then for Arribas. and then a 10-yard penalty against the Beat Diggers. So this turns into a 1st and 4. After that long run by Eddie Arribas. Dave, I'm happy he didn't score. And it was a holding penalty. So the ball at the 32-yard line. Yeah, because had he scored, that would hurt that much more. At least from a Beat Digger standpoint. 1st and 4 from the 32-yard line. The backs are split. 2 receivers to the right. Now Baker's in motion to the left. The handoff, left side, a big hole for Rosenbrock. 1st down. He lowers his shoulder across the 40 to the 41. It's a gain of 9 for Kyle Rosenbrock. I tell you, it takes Alec Ellis a strong hit to bring Rosenbrock down. But the sophomore is approaching 100 yards.
He's got 80 yards now on 10 carries, and that time again, I'll tell you what, they just jumped on his back and then just paid the price for tackling high because they just got hit with a face penalty.
That's a 3rd personal foul. That takes the ball to the 44-yard line. They was sloppy beginning to the second half on both sides.
You bet. You know, that's one of those deals where Wray was doing a pretty good job of tackling them low towards the end of the second quarter. You know, Rosenbrock wasn't carrying him around quite as much, but here they are. They're jumping on his back again and paying the price.
Beat Diggers race up to the line of scrimmage. Brush 22, Wray 15. 11:17 to go in the third quarter. In motion to the right is Baker. Tormolen hands it off to Rosenbrock across the left side, still on his feet across the 40. He's down at the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 9. Alec Ellis. So the
they came out in that 300 formation. They took their slot on the left side, put him in motion over to this side. They've been doing that the last couple of plays, and the coaches are on to something because when they do that, it frees up that trap up the middle. And that's all it was. You know, our right guard pulled over to the left side. Rosenbrock followed him and found a big hole there.
Yeah, but it worked. 2nd down and a yard to go for the Beat Diggers. With a football resting at the 35. Tormolen, long count as he gets up to the line of scrimmage. Tormolen's going to hand it off on the right side to Rosenbrock. 1st down, he dives to the 30. A gain of 5. Conservative play as Cade Reinick made the tackle.
That was more like a 26 where they faked the dive, you know, to the halfback straight ahead, and then Rosenbrock kind of crosses behind him to run it off tackle. And they caught the Wray linebacker coming up and making the tackle on our running back, and then left Rosenbrock wide open.
And he took advantage nicely. 1st and 10 for the Beat Diggers at the 30. Again, nothing fancy like you mentioned, Dave. Just simple football for Brush. As they carry a 7-point lead here in this third quarter. Backs are split. Tormolen, bootleg left, has running room to the outside of the 25-yard line along the sideline, and he's dragged down inside the 25 towards the 23. Gain of close to 7 for Mitch Tormolen. This offense looks very machine-like right now.
You know, they're just methodically trudging down the field and just running right at Wray. They're not afraid to run in between the tackles. Then all of a sudden when they bust one outside, they catch Wray looking the wrong way.
Yeah. 2nd down and 3, a short 3 at the 23-yard line after the gain of 7 by Mitch Tormolen. The Beat Diggers 23 yards away from extending the 7-point advantage. Tormolen hands it off right up the gut to Rosenbrock. He dives for a 1st down inside the 20 to about the 19. The initial penetration was by Colby Newton, the senior. I'll give him 4. The Beat Diggers have 3 first downs on this drive.
97 yards rushing for Rosenbrock now on 13 carries. And tell you what, just doing a good job of running right there behind Corey Acosta. Jose Rodriguez is the right guard. And Victor Lopez, the right tackle. Those guys are busting some holes open.
They haven't eaten up too much time, though. But the Beat Diggers did have excellent field position after that run by Arribas, even though part of it got called back. 1st and 10 for Brush at the Wray 19-yard line. Tormolen awaits the snap, has the football, hands it off to Rosenbrock, running left, spins to the 15, maybe the 14-yard line. He was hit high initially. Going to get at least 4 yards as they mark the football along the far sideline, the left sideline, and it'll be 2nd down, and we will call it 6, a gain of 4, again for the sophomore Rosenbrock on a very busy night.
You know, he's got 101 yards now on 14 carries, that time running behind Maverick Seawald and Tyler Stratton.
The Beat Diggers face a second down and 6 at the Wray 15-yard line. 8:55 to go, third quarter. Brush 22, Wray 15. Eddie Arribas in that backfield with Rosenbrock. Back to throw Tormolin. Watch the backside pressure. Throws towards the end zone. The pass is incomplete. Boy, Tormolin was about to get hit hard. And the intended receiver looked like a tight end was out there. The Beat Diggers. Oh, no, it was Ben Mickey was out there, the tight end, on the incomplete pass in the end zone. Third down and 6 to go for the Beat Diggers at the 15-yard line. And they were in this position not as close before the break, so these plays are critical.
Coach Mullen had his cousin wide open over there, and he just threw it a little short. The Wray kid jumped up in the air, and I think it caused Ben to lose his sight on the ball. And if Tremolin would have thrown it a little bit higher, I think that would have been a touchdown.
Well, they can still run the football for 3rd and 6. Tormolin, bootleg left, Holton on his left hip, along the left sideline to the 10, and he should have a first down close to the 5-yard line. Tormolin disguised that one very nicely. It is a 1st and goal for Brush. And not going to be at about the 5. That 5-yard line, let's give him a gain of 10 for Miss Tormolin.
So he's got 23 yards now on 5 carries. Boy, they had some good fakes there. It was hard to tell where the football was.
Yeah, I mean, I could see from here, but it's much easier from this vantage point. 1st and goal from the 5. 8:35 to go, third quarter. Beat Diggers lead the Wray Eagles 22-15, looking for their first win in Wray in 20 years. Baker's in motion to the right. Tormolin hands it off right side. Rosenbrock, he is untouched into the end zone. Kyle Rosenbrock scores for the 2nd time in the game. His first offensive touchdown of this contest. Brush 28, Wray 15.
So the Diggers are on to something with that 300 and 400 formation. That time they ran that 26 crossover here on this side. Again, the linebackers are stepping up, tackling the dive, and just letting him run free to more off tackle on the outside.
All right, here comes the extra point from Jesus Cardenas to extend the Beat Digger lead to 14. Oh, what an offense. And you know that Wray defense they're not bad, Dave. It's just this Brush offense is moving the ball swiftly down the field. Cardenas to attempt the extra point. There's the snap. It's a good one. The kick is up, and that one is good. 8:31 to go. Third quarter. Brush 29. Wray 15 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 10 plays, 74 yards, in 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Kyle Rosenbrock scores from 5 yards out. And Brush now leads Wray 29-15. Welcome back to Powell Field and Wray. I'm John Beltran with Dave Uhrig. Where Brush has scored 29 of the last 37 points in this game after trailing initially 7-0. And now Jesus Cardenas to kick it off with Kyler Churchwell and Orlando Lefevre back to receive. Dave, might be new uniforms for the Beat Diggers, but the same positive results for that offense.
Yep, they just pound it and pound it. Our kickoff's really the same, or more conventional, 5 guys on each side of the kicker, and Cardenas kicks it right up the middle.
This one is a low-line drive. It'll bounce towards the 10. Picked up at the 15-yard line, straight ahead to the 20. Oh, and upended right there. What a hit made by Nico Guzman as he brought down Orlando Lefevre. That one had to hurt a little bit, Dave, at the 25-yard line where Wray has possession of the football.
Yeah, he hit him low. I'll tell you what. He just knocked his feet right out from underneath of him. You know, I'll tell you what, Lefevre's lucky he went down there because Christian DeLong, he had a beat on him. If he would have been standing up, I think DeLong might have finished him off.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 25-yard line.
Diggers back into that 5-man defensive front again. 2 linebackers.
Reinick in a shotgun formation. Has the football. Hands it off, and running left is Churchwell. He's going to hold across the 30, and he pulls his way across the 35 to the 38. Holding on is Jake Morrow. It's a gain of 13. They might have got him high, and that could result in additional yardage for the Eagles as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with that, but, you know, they did a good job at disguising that. It was tough for the Diggers to bring him down because nobody hit him low.
Yep. They're going to go an additional 15. It'll place the football in Beat Digger territory, and just like that, the Eagles have advanced all the way to the Beat Digger 47. I'll give him, I got him for 14 yards then. First and 10 for Wray. The Beat Diggers up by 14 points, but the Eagles looking to cut that in half very quickly. Reineck in a shotgun. Lefebvre resets. Reineck will hand the football off. It's full, and the Beat Diggers have got it. The football has been recovered by Randy Baker at the 43-yard line. Looked like there was some confusion, and that wasn't Lefebvre. That was the upback. And Randy Baker has the fumble recovery for the Beat Diggers.
Yeah, I think Valco was supposed to get that ball. He's that blocking back that's up there close, but they're not used to giving him the ball all the time. So I'm sure that's not the play they practice most of the time at practice.
Dave, the Beat Diggers can put the nail in the coffin, so to speak, here in the third quarter with a 14-point lead. Plenty of time to go, though. 8:05. First and 10 for Brush. 57 yards away from extending the lead. On first and 10, Tormolin is back to throw, looking to his left. Lobs it up the left sideline. That pass is incomplete. Defended, even though it looked like Jake Brown had a step on the defender at the 25-yard line. Second down and 10, Alec Ellis on the coverage.
Pulling 3 for 9 now for 50 yards. He just overthrew him by about 5 yards. He had plenty of time there. I tell you what, man, Stratman and Seawald, Acosta, Rodriguez, Lopez, those guys are giving Mullen plenty of time to hit the ball.
How does the ball go from the 43 to the 42.5? I don't get that, Dave. I mean, it's me. Anyway, second down and 10 for the Beat Diggers. Haven't been too many plays Brush has thrown it twice in a row. You can more or less expect a handoff here with a back split. So Bolin hands it off to Rosenbrock, up the middle, spinning to his left, across the 45, still going. And he's down at the 48, some hard running. The gain of 5 for Kyle Rosenbrock before he was gang tackled. Third down and 5 to go for Brush.
111 yards now for Rosenbrock, and again, just running that trap. And he gets the ball, and he starts getting hit. You see him leaning his body forward. He's smart enough to know if he goes down, falls forward, he's going to pick up those extra couple of yards.
For the best prices and special offers on top quality car parts and accessories, visit Central Auto Parts, 1001 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. Third down and 5. Baker's in motion to the right. Handoff right side across the 50. Pulling his way to the 47 is Kyle Rosenbrock. Very close to a first down. Cade Reineck had the initial penetration. Alec Ellis made the final hit. It is a gain of 5. Right at the stick. To me, Dave, that looks like first down for sure.
You betcha. I think it is, and there they did. They went ahead and signaled it. Brush just being really happy just to run the ball in between those tackles and maintain control. And like I was saying earlier, Rosenbrock does a really good job of covering the ball with 2 hands once he gets to that line of scrimmage.
Nico Guzman is the receiver out to the left. First and 10 for the Beat Diggers at the 47. Under 7 minutes to go, third quarter. Brush 29, Wray 15. Tormolin taking his time up to the line of scrimmage. We'll send Baker in motion to the right. There's the handoff right up the gut to Arribas, a big hole, and he fumbles the football. It's still loose. I think the Beat Diggers might have fallen on it, though, at the 44-yard line. Arribas got a break. They did fall on it. It's a gain of 3. He was carrying that ball a little bit carelessly. I'm not sure who fell on it, but he gets a huge break.
Yeah, he's got to cover that ball with 2 hands, too, because those Eagles, they got to try to strip it out of there, and there's some hard hits, and guys teach their players to make sure they make contact with the football when they tackle somebody, so it's going to start protecting that ball a little bit better.
Well, Dave, you know that the only way Wray can get back into this game is by forcing a turnover. Second down and 7 for the 44 because they can't stop Rush. We haven't seen Tyler Stratman out there to punt. Beat Diggers in Wray territory. In motion to the left this time is Baker. Second down, the pitch left to Arribas, swings it to the outside, cuts it back, and he's down for a loss. He is down for a loss of 1, maybe 2, at the 46-yard line. Austin Reed with some penetration from his defensive back position. A loss of 2. Third down and 9, a critical play for this Wray defense with the Beat Diggers up by 14 points. 5:39 to go, third quarter.
Yeah, they tried to run that quick pitch over there. But boy, their defense just got upfield so fast and made us have to lose a lot of ground to be able to get to the outside. Just didn't work.
Rivas is out. The Bee Diggers will send trips to the right. Peterson, Brown, and Nico Guzman. One setback. That is Rosenbrock. On third down and 9 for the 46, Tormolen. Back to throw. Still looking. Throws to his right. Pass is complete. First down. And that one is inside the 35-yard line, maybe outside the 35. Jake Brown with the reception. It'll be backtracked to the 36, 35 and a half. We'll give him 10 yards.
Boy, that was a bullet. You got to give Brown credit. I'll tell you what, he knew how far he had to get the first down, and he made it past the sticks before he turned around to catch the football, and that's just some smart playing there.
And the clock continues to move after the movement of the chains. Under 5 minutes to go in the third. Brush 29, Wray 15. First and 10 for the Bee Diggers. Now some confusion with Baker and Brown. Now they set up the Bee Digger offense at the Wray 36-yard line. Brown in motion to the left. Tormolen hands it off left side to Rosenbrock. Gets around a tackler along the sideline. Tries to work his way out of a tackle at the 30-yard line. Still on his feet. Along the sideline to the 20, to the 15, towards the 10. I don't know how much room Rosenbrock had. It didn't look like much, but he's got a first down for Brush. I mean, minimal room for Kyle Rosenbrock until he was knocked out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Officially, it's a gain of 17. Dave Urick, how did he do that?
He just slows down and speeds up, and slows down and speeds up, and then he does a good job. He ran to the left, had the ball in his left hand, so he could use his right hand to help push defenders off a few straight arms here and there. But he's using his speed and making defenders miss.
Yeah, sometimes when you don't run, that's an effective way to run because you let the defenders run by you when they think they've got you cornered. First and 10 for Brush at the Wray 19-yard line. In motion to the right is Brown. Tormolen hands it off to Rosenbrock. Running left, he's got very little yardage. A rare short carry for Kyle Rosenbrock. But even then, he just lowers the shoulder. I thought he had maybe a couple of yards.
Well, that's a good example of like what happened on the sideline. Everybody else thinks he's going down. They thought he was going down on the sideline, so people let up and kind of quit playing. But I'm telling you what, one thing that Kyle and his brother, they're both alike. Both of those guys go 100 miles an hour until the whistle blows, and that's just the way they play every sport, and that's why they have such a big advantage at times.
And that's why a 1-yard gain, it looked like it was a 3-yard gain for Rosenbrock. Second down and 7 at the 16-yard line. Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tormolen hands it off to Rosenbrock, running left inside the 15, spins to about the 10 before he's barreled down there by a couple of Wray defenders. We'll call that a gain of 6. And third down and 1 for Brush.
142 yards now on a 20 carry, so over 7-yard average. And that's just awesome.
Yeah, they got that ball just outside the 10. It's third, and we'll call that the short 2. Just inside the 11. Rosenbrock again taking his time up to the line of scrimmage with a 2-touchdown advantage. On third down with a back split. Tormolen back to throw, looking, rolling to his right, throws underneath, that pass is caught. That's a first down along the right sideline. Touchdown, Randy Baker! Baker scores for the third time in the game. Brush 35, Wray 15, officially from 11 yards away.
64 yards receiving for Baker now. Again, Nico Guzman was open in the back of the end zone, but because he was rolling over here to the right side, Rosenbrock wasn't able to see him. Baker just ran a great pattern, ran right away from that linebacker that had to cover him in the flats and made a nice catch.
Now the extra point to be attempted by Jesus Cardenas after the 11-yard pass from Tormolen to Baker, awaiting the snap, a little bit low. Cardenas boots it, and that is good. 2:56 remaining, third quarter. Brush 36, Wray 15 on 1010 KSIR, KSIR.com. Or the Bee Diggers with a masterful drive. 5 minutes on the drive, more than 5 minutes. 5 minutes and 9 seconds. They covered 57 yards, 10 plays. Mitch Tormolen to Randy Baker. Officially, they called it 11 yards out. The ball was between the 10 and the 11. And Brush now leads 36-15. Dave, I didn't think this game would be a rout this early, although the game is certainly not over.
No, I'll tell you what, we just piled some points up on them there, but I'm really proud of our offense. We came out, we were really balanced attack, weren't we? We ran the ball up the middle, we ran it on the outside, and then came back with some nice passes as well.
This will get off. Randy Baker with 3 touchdowns, Kyle Rosenbrock with 2. And Dave, what do you say? 5 touchdowns by underclassmen.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Incredible.
Yep. So Tremolin's 5 for 11 for 70 yards now.
Kyler Churchwell and Orlando Lefevre are back deep to receive it. Goodness, boots this one. Fielded at the 6. Straight ahead is Churchwell, and he's going to be tackled. And fumble at the 20, and Alec Peterson looks like he's got it. At the 16-yard line, Alec Peterson has recovered the fumble. And the Beat Diggers now in prime position at the 15-yard line of Wray. As Peterson recovers the fumble by Kyler Churchwell.
You know, that high kick of Cardenas is what really set that up because it gave our kickoff team a lot of time to run down the field and get good coverage on them, so they were able to put that hit on him and get their nose on the football.
Well, Dave, there's no reason to throw a pass now. Run the football and try to extend this to a 4-touchdown lead with Arribas and Rosenbrock in the backfield. 1st and 10. That's 2 recovered fumbles by Brush in this third quarter. Tormolen, play action. He's looking to throw, and he's going to throw it off his back foot. The pass is caught wide open. It's Arribas. Touchdown! 15 yards away on that pass underneath. Tormolen's last 2 passes have been caught for scores. Brush 42, Wray 15.
But again, you know, it's the thing about the passing is a lot of his biggest plays haven't been because he was able to set up and throw. He's throwing it off his back foot, across his body, just showing a lot of athleticism and strength.
And I said that there's no reason to throw a pass there before the play because, you know, you're up by 3 scores. The game is not over, but Wray was probably anticipating Brush is going to run the football, and that allowed Arribas to get wide open.
Yep.
So here comes the extra point. By the way, Dave, Arribas is a junior.
Yeah,
that's 6 touchdowns by underclassmen. And that drive took exactly 7 seconds. And the extra point by Godinez is up, and that one is just over the crossbar. 2:41 to go, third quarter. Brush in blowout mode over Wray, 43-15 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Following the Kyler Churchwell fumble on the kickoff return, Alec Peterson recovered the football. 1 play later, Mitch Tormolen with another touchdown pass. And that was his 3rd of the game. His first to Eddie Arribas, and the Beat Diggers now lead 43-15. They have scored 21 points in the 3rd, and we still have 2:41 to go.
Yeah, they're really getting some momentum going. It's exciting to see a young offense just getting a lot of confidence. You know, it's like they got that momentum going, and now it's hard to stop. Be interesting to see what Cardenas does now as he kicks it off. He's kicked it really low, he's whipped it down low, he's kicked it high, he's put it in the end zone. I think they're telling him how they want him to kick it because it's not consistent.
Gotten us high and deep, and it's going to be fielded again by Churchwell at the 10, to the 15, to 20. He's got a seam across the 20 down at the 30. It's a return of 20. And Wray will start from there. But Dave, they're going to have to put the ball up, let's put it that way. By the way, they're going to backtrack the football to the 28-yard line. But what do you think? Should they just run their offense naturally here? Because you put it up too much, you could risk another turnover. Already a couple here in the 3rd.
At this point, I think you start thinking about how you want to play next week, honestly. They have 28 plays in the first half and 29 now, so
wow.
You just need to get some offense going.
1st and 10 from the 28. Reineck in the shotgun, and he will keep the football, and he's going to be dragged by Kyle Rosenbrock, not to the ground, just held up. It'll be a gain of 1 for Reineck. And that was read perfectly by the Beat Diggers because Rosenbrock was not there by himself, although he made the initial contact.
Well, that's the play that's been getting us, where they have that option to hand the ball off or run that option to the outside. That time they didn't fool us. Rosenbrock was right there. The good thing was he wrapped him up. He didn't dive. He didn't leave his feet. Once he made contact, he kept driving his feet the whole time.
2nd down and 9. From the 39-yard line with 1:56 to go, third quarter. Brush 43, Wray 15. Reinick in a shotgun formation once again, awaiting the snap. As the football spins, we'll hand it off to the man running left, and that's a short gain for Orlando Lefebvre. The Beatniggers read that perfectly. He spun for 1 yard to the 30-yard line in the waiting arms of a couple of Beatniggers, including Jake Morrow.
Rosenbrock's over here at that defensive end, and where he's really shut that down. They're trying to run it his way, and he's just holding his ground, controlling the outside shoulder of the blocker. And that time they tried to pull that little blocking back up here, and he just squeezed it down, and there wasn't a lot of running room for Lefebvre. 1:20 to go in the third. Brush 43, Wray 15, trips to the right, 3rd down and 8. One receiver to the left. Reinick again in a shotgun. Awaits the snap. As the football rolls to his right, stops, still rolling now, and then throws underneath, incomplete. Intended for Alec Ellis underneath, defended by Alec Peterson. 4th down and 8. And the Beatnigger defense, Dave, has really figured out the Wray offense here in the third. As you mentioned, a limited number of plays. And you feel a little bit more comfortable with a 28-point lead as opposed to the 7-point advantage they had at halftime. Yeah, I think our defense has figured out that it works a lot better when you don't spot them 5 yards on that first carry every series.
Without a doubt.
Baker's back to receive the punt. This is something we've had a chance to see very often tonight.
Kyler Churchwell will punt standing at his own 17. Baker at his own 37. Heavy rush, and the ball is partially blocked, and the ball is loose. The Beatniggers don't want to jump on that ball at the 42-yard line, and it was Brett Bostrom, who's been injured, Dave, which is why we haven't seen much of him, who got a piece of the football, and Brush will have the football at the Wray 42-yard line.
Brett's been playing defense this whole time, playing that free safety. We haven't said his name a whole lot tonight, but I'm telling you, he is a weapon. That kid is fast.
Oh, yeah.
Smart. He knows where the ball's at. I remember last year in the playoffs, he cut that pass and ran right down the sideline.
Against Bayfield.
Yeah, it was a big score.
Yeah, without a doubt. We know that Bostrom, like you mentioned, he can be a weapon offensively, and and that's why. That's how good this Brush team is. He's not really being utilized as an offensive weapon despite his speed, and has been very valuable, as you mentioned, defensively and now on special teams.
That's right. As soon as he's healthy, I'm sure they will start using it.
1st and 10 for Brush at the Wray 42-yard line. Brush up by 28 points. There's the handoff to Jake Morrow. Breaks out of a tackle, the 42 to the 40-yard line, inside the 35, spinning at the 30. Still on his feet as he breaks another tackle, and then he's brought down by a bevy of Eagles inside the 25 towards the 24. An amazing run of 18 yards and a 1st down for Jake Morrow.
Yeah, you're right. He was spinning, and he didn't really do any of that stop and start stuff. Hart kept driving his legs and leaning forward, and the Eagles just couldn't bring him down. He just out-muscled him.
1st and 10 for Brush at the Wray 24. This is a monumentally huge offensive quarter for the Beatniggers against a good Wray Eagles team. On 1st down for the 24, Tormolin hands it off on the counter to Arribas, running left, runs inside the 20 to the 15, still on his feet, lost the football, but falls on it. 2nd time Arribas has lost the football, but luckily it did not cost him, and the Beatniggers look like they have a 1st down. Is that ball at the 11? I think it is. It's a gain of 13 yards, unless they reset it. Yeah, gain of 11 for Eddie Arribas. I don't think Brush has got to run another play before the end of the quarter. And Mitch Tormolin will walk towards the sideline, then back up towards the huddle, but no reason to run another play. We have played 3 quarters from Powell Field in Wray. The score, Brush 43, Wray 15 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. The Brush Beatniggers are 11 yards away from hitting the 50-point mark, assuming they make the extra point as we head to the 4th quarter. John Beltran and Dave Urich from Powell Field and Wray. Brush 43, Wray 15. Serving you the best coffees, lattes, and smoothies. Willow Coffee, Tea, and Smoothies will be closed for Labor Day weekend due to the new owners, but will reopen on Tuesday, September 4th, with $1 off all lattes and new hours to better serve you. Stop by and see them. Willow Coffee, Tea, and Smoothies, 921 Edison Street in Brush. Beat Diggers coming up to the line of scrimmage. They have taken advantage of a couple of turnovers, a blocked punt by Brett Bostrom in the third quarter. And here's a Rebus and Morrow in the backfield. It's a good thing that Rosenbrock gets a little breather, as he was a workhorse over the first three quarters, particularly in the first half. For Brush on first down from the 11. Tormolen hands it off right side to Morrow, swings it to the outside to the 7, still on his feet, trying to break a tackle inside the 5, and he backs his way towards the 4, perhaps the 3 for Jake Morrow. It's a gain of 8.
26 yards on 2 carries for Morrow, and again, just showing a lot of strength and just that will, the will to not go down. But I got to, again, comment on the blocking up there with Stratman and Seawald and Rodriguez and Lopez over on the right side, and then Ben Mickey at that tight end, Corey Costa at center. Those guys are doing a great job of controlling that line of scrimmage and making some big blocks that are making all these nice runs possible.
Second down and 2 to go for the 3-yard line of the Eagles. In motion to the left. Looks like that's Brown, handoff left side, and storming towards the end zone and scoring is Jake Morrow. 3 yards out. Brush 49, Wray 15. The first touchdown tonight by a senior.
Again, just not going down. He was hit a couple times, but he just keeps driving his feet and stayed behind his blockers, and he just patiently walked into the end zone, basically.
7th touchdown the Beat Diggers have scored tonight. 3 in the first half, now 4 in the second half. And we're awaiting the extra point.
Yeah, they started rotating some of those players, and they lost one of their guys. They need a guy out there. It looks like Rosenbrock's got to hustle out there. He wasn't ready to go for the PAT.
Well, they might have to take a timeout, but they race up to the line of scrimmage. 5 on the play clock. 3, 2, awaiting the snap. It's down. The kick is up, and that one looks like it's inside the left upright. It's good. 54 seconds into the fourth quarter. Brush 50, Wray 15 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Well, that drive took 59 seconds, 42 yards away after the blocked punt by Brett Bostrom. Jake Morrow scores from 3 yards out. The Beat Diggers lead 50-15, a 35-point advantage. Dave, the last time I remember the Beat Diggers being this dominant in a regular season opener,
not an opener.
Well, they did have a rout in 2006 over Fort Morgan, and they were pretty dominant in that game. 2 years ago in 2010, the opener against Fort Morgan was another one-sided affair as well, so this is nothing new for Brush. I thought it was thinking in recent years, they've been this good this early. Backing up at the 1-yard line, running to the 10 is Orlando Lefebvre, and then he's going to be wrestled to the ground across the 15 towards the 19-yard line. Eligio Barraza was down there on special teams along with junior Chase Klein. Football will be placed at the 18-yard line, 10:56 to go in the game. And the only issue now is whether this game goes to a running clock. If they get a 40-point lead or greater, it does go to a running clock. As the Beat Diggers were down 7-0 at one point and have scored 50 of the last 58 points in this game.
Diggers still have mostly their starting defense out there.
First and 10 from the 18-yard line. Direct snap to Cade Reinick, squeezing it towards the middle. As he just maneuvered his way across the 20 to the 24. Gain of 6. Randy Baker made the tackle. Second down and 4. And you're right, they're going to run their normal offense now. Obviously, the game is out of reach for Wray. It's been out of reach since probably the second or third touchdown scored by the Beat Diggers in the third quarter. on 2nd down and 4 from the 24. Reineck once again in a shotgun. Long count. There's the snap, the handoff left side to Lefebvre, has daylight to the outside, back to the inside, across the 30 to the 31. Eddie Arribas makes the tackle. And let's see, they backtrack this football. It'll be at the 30, just across 30. Gain of 6 and a first down for Orlando Lefebvre.
It's just that in round. Lefebvre lines up in that slot position here on the right side, and then he takes off running to the left side after the ball's been snapped, and they hand it off to him. It's like a little reverse. And they're just catching us without our defensive end staying home on the far side.
Northeastern Colorado's locally owned hometown savings and loan in Fort Morgan and Brush is Equitable Savings and Loan. Baker and Arribas come off the field under their own power, but obviously there was an issue there, Dave.
I'm not sure what it was. If one of those guys got dinged a little bit or what, but they definitely both came off the field. That was after a hard hit there on Lefebvre. One of them went down low and made that tackle. Probably, he might have caught him on the side of the head.
1st and 10 for the 30, 9:55 to go. Brush 50, Wray 15. Direct snap this time goes to Alec Ellis, and he runs right up the gut to the 35 for a gain of 5. And the first man in on the hit for the Beat Diggers, Jose Rodriguez. 2nd down and 5 for Wray.
Tyler Stratman just came out of the game. Well, he's done a good job defensively, and then also on that offensive line, he's getting a little breather.
On 2nd and 5. Again, Reineck in that shotgun. And there was movement, and the movement came from the right side of the Beat Digger defensive line. It'll be close to a first down. It'll be maybe an inch shy. Yeah. And it will be 2nd down and less than a yard to go. After the offsides by Brush, the ball just at the 40.
Yeah, they just went on that long count, and our young players are eager to get across the line of scrimmage.
We'll have a Beat Digger player of the game brought to you by T.O. Charlie's. Reineck with a football, handoff right up the middle, first down. Across the 40 to the 44. Let's see, who had that football there? That looked like Alec Ellis again. I tell you, the tight quarters on those handoffs, Dave.
Yeah, their offensive linemen are basically toe-to-toe up there on the line of scrimmage, and that's what you do in these single wings. Just try to overload those areas and just wedge block your way down the field.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 44. There's Reineck with the football. He'll take it up the middle after faking to the left, faking the pitch, that is, across the 45 to the 48, a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6 yards to go, and Corey Acosta around the football to make the play.
Also Licio Barraza and also Cordell Craich.
As the Beat Diggers are allowing a few more of those players in there with this one-sided affair in favor of Brush, 50-15, 8:23 to go in the game. We'll be back in action coming up on Friday night in Brush against the Fort Morgan Mustangs. 2nd down and 6 for the 48. Lefebvre in motion. Bobbled snap by Reineck, but he hands it off in a big hole across the 50 to the 47. And a late flag. Alec Ellis carried the football. It's going to be a gain of 5. And I think we're going to go 15 against Brush as well with a personal foul.
Yeah, I think we got him by the
face
helmet.
mask, yeah.
Tackled him by the helmet. Jose Campos, our defensive end out there now. Like Jesus Cardenas is getting some time out there.
And the football is going to be placed at the 32. So 1st and 10. This drive started at the 18-yard line as we are under 8 minutes to go in the game. In motion to the left. There's the direct snap to Reineck. And he barrels his way across the 30 to the 27. Gain of around 5. I'd say one Beat Digger took a shot. That was Alec Peterson, but he made the play. after Kyler Churchwell went in motion to begin the play.
Corey Acosta's getting some defensive time out there, as is Carlos Montez, and Mikey Gutierrez is playing the cornerback over on the right side.
2nd down and 5 for Wray at the Beat Digger 27-yard line. Reinick has the snap, rolling to his left. He will pitch it left to Lefebvre. He's got nowhere to go, and he is upended big time by the man you just talked about, the young man, Michael Gutierrez. He tumbled him back to the 30-yard line. A tremendous open field play.
Yeah, you know, the like a helicopter spins, that's what happened to him. The kid left his feet, tried to jump a little bit, but Mikey hit him so hard, so low, the kid just spun end over end.
And Lefebvre took a shot. It's a loss of 3. And now it's 3rd down and 8 from the 30-yard line. More than likely 4-down territory for the Eagles, down 50-15. Reinick again in a shotgun formation. Has the football, spinning, hands it off on the right side. There's a big hole up the middle. 1st down for Churchwell as he's across the 25 to the 21. Yeah, that's right at the stick, but I think he's closer to the 21 than the 22, which would give him close to 9 yards and a 1st down for Kyler Churchwell. Thought the Beat Diggers might have had that play read initially. That is a 1st down. Just inside the Beat Digger 22. I mean, this is big for Ray if they can score and just get some momentum going into game number 2 next week. But Dave, it's the first victory for Brush and Ray since 1992.
I was young back then.
I had hair back then. I mean, a legitimate amount. No comb over. 1st and 10 from the 22. Shotgun. Reinick spinning, looking to throw. Rolling right, trying to avoid pressure. Throws it into the end zone. Pass is caught. Wide open touchdown to Austin Reed from 22 yards out. And the Eagles are back on the board. Brush 50. Ray 21. Nice connection there on a drive that lasted nearly 5 minutes.
Reinick completed 5 of 9 attempts for 105 yards. Ray's got a good passing game.
Oh, yeah,
a really good passing game. They just, the Diggers have just been able to keep them off balance enough and basically neutralize their offense in the second half. So they had to work hard to get the ball down the field against our second-team defense.
Now Ray will go for 2. Reinick awaiting the snap out of the shotgun. Is going to hand it off to the left to Kyler Churchwell. He's in easily on that end around. 2-point conversion is good. 5:58 to go in the game. Brush 50, Ray 23 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 10 plays, 82 yards in 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Austin Reed, a 22-yard reception thrown by Cade Reinick. 2-point conversion run was good by Kyler Churchwell. And the Beat Digger lead is down to 27 at 50-23. Austin Clapper to kick it off. We'll have our Beat Digger player of the game coming up. I'll be to get it to one player, and for some reason neither team knew which direction they were going in. They were about to kick it off going one way to the other, which you always do, but Ray was about to kick it off right to left when it should be left to right. Not that that matters to anybody listening.
Brush has got their hands team out there. Luckily, they got guys all up there within 10 yards of the 50-yard, expecting Ray's onside kick.
B&B Appliance, 502 Ensign in Fort Morgan, can help you save water, energy, and the environment without sacrificing quality and performance. Change for the better with B&B Appliance. And Clapper with a football to 40. Yeah, he's got that football arched in a way that he might be going for the onside kick with 5:58 to go. And this, nope, it'll be a high, short kick, fielded at the 24, running to the 30. Looks like Alec Peterson, and he's down across the 30 to the 35-yard line. Beat Diggers once again with very good field position. And now if you can just run out the clock and get this thing over with, you go home with a resounding victory in a game that started off going very fast, but it slowed down because of all the offense that Brush put together.
Yeah, and the best part is, looks like no injury. So, that's a great way to start the season. Tell you what, Peterson did a good job fielding that kickoff because he had to run up on that thing about 15 yards. He had to put the hustle on to get there and make the catch. And when he caught the ball, he was running about full speed. And after he made the catch, he ran right into all of his blockers, so he didn't really know where to go.
1st and 10 for Brush at their own 35-yard line. Keep in mind that we upload the audio from each and every game to YouTube on our KSRB 106 channel. We've done that the last few years, so you can check out past games. There's the pitch left to Eddie Arribas along the sideline, and he goes out of bounds, which you do not want to do. Cade Reinick dragged him out of bounds, and it looks like only for a gain of 1. 2nd down and 9, and that's not the game plan for Brush with a 27-point lead. And here comes the second unit for the Beat Diggers, and the first unit gets a big round of applause, even though the majority of fans are on this side, Dave, because the space is much bigger on the side we're on, the side of the press box.
So I see Cameron Alexander out there. He's the wide out on the near side.
Grayson Simmons is now the quarterback. Man in motion to the right, 2nd down and 9. Hand off right side to Gutierrez, and he jitters his way across the 50-yard line inside Ray territory to the 44, maybe the 43. Can Michael Gutierrez run? Oh, he just took off.
Yeah, Mikey's a good athlete. He ran that position for a lot of years because they run that same offense at the junior high. Coach Muniz relied on him quite a bit at the junior high level, and then again last year on the C team he did that, so here he goes.
The gain of 22 for Michael Gutierrez. Oh, can you imagine with that speed? I mean,
I told you, we got some depth. We got a lot of guys that could step in.
Yeah, no, I know. Not that I was doubting you, but that was impressive. 1st and 10 for Brush at the 42-yard line of Wray. The Beat Diggers with a 50-23 lead, 5:16 to go in the game from Powell Field and Wray. Man in motion to the left. Simmons with a handoff, and hit in the backfield is Gutierrez. Had nothing there, lost a yard. Austin Clapper, the first man in on the play. 2nd down and 11 for Brush, under 5 minutes to go in the game.
Grayson on that play, you watch him run that 33. He carried out his bootleg fake all the way over to the sideline. He's another one, really good athlete, and he's a student of the game.
Well, the G-Man was with us a few years ago helping shoot video. That really launched us in the video age right here on 1010 and uploading all those videos to YouTube. Grayson was a big part of that. Now the G-Man under center, 2nd down and 11 at the 43-yard line of Wray. Simmons hands it off to Gutierrez, right side, jitterbugging his way for about a yard. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Towards the 42 and a half, a gain of 1. 3rd and 10 for Brush.
Some other guys out there, I see Cordell Craich is up there on that offensive line.
Chase Klein checking back into the game. Jose Campa was in there for a couple of plays. He's now taking a breather. Nice job of Simmons taking his time, knowing that the Beat Diggers have a big lead. No reason to rush these plays.
How many young quarterbacks do you know that stand out there and watch that official in the back count it off? What a great job.
Yep, Klein in motion to the left. Simmons will hand it off right up the gut and breaking tackles inside the 40 to the 39 for a gain of 4 for the Beat Diggers is Conrad Cole. Impressive run for him. 4th down and 6 to go. And I guess with 3:19 to go in the game, just go for it. And if you don't get it, you give it back to Wray. You've got this game secure, a 27-point advantage.
Conrad Cole's another one with some depth. He's fast. He's done a good job running the football over the years, too, so he's another go-to guy for him.
Beat Diggers will go for it. 4th down and 6 at the Wray 39. Simmons will hand it off left side, breaking a tackle inside the 35 to the 33, very close to a first down, boy, right at the stick. And that was Gutierrez again. It's a gain of 6. If he didn't make it, he missed by an inch because he's very close. It looks like they'll have to measure from this vantage point. I mean, it is very, very close. If he missed it by a couple of credit cards.
Yeah, that Whitecap, I think he had to close one eye looking over there to the sideline. He went ahead and waved the flags out.
2:50 to go. The Beat Diggers can run out the clock if they get the first down here, as the sticks will be stretched. And Mikey Gutierrez has fallen just short of the first down. Wray has the football back at their own 32.5-yard line with 2:50 to go in the game. But nice job of that second unit running that offense.
You bet. Those guys did a great job. They're going to get to stay out there on the field for defense now.
Yeah, it looks like the Eagles will bring in their second unit as well. Should have about 4 or 5 plays left in this game. Baylor Buck is out there.
You guys see Jose Campa, Carlos Montez, Levi Abbott. It's like Christian DeLong's out there, the linebacker.
First down and 10, just shy of the 33-yard line for the Eagles. There's the handoff along the right side to the 34, down right there. As that was, boy, who carried that football? There we go. That was David Ruiz, a freshman. And a gain of 1. Second down and 9. Looked like Barraza was out there and a couple other Beat Diggers to make that play. Quarterback is now Zach Spencer, a sophomore for Wray.
Nico Guzman's playing the corner over here. Looks like Conrad pulls a strong safety on the far side.
On second down and 9, Spencer will hand it off, but that did not go well on the handoff to Ruiz. The penetration by Carlos Montez, as he is knocked down right at the 34. No gain. Third down and 9. We are under 2 minutes to go in the 2012 regular season opener for the Brush Beat Diggers.
Looks like Edgar Rojas is up there, free safety.
You mentioned Christian DeLong. Third down and 9 for the 34. Shotgun formation for Spencer, and the ball is snapped over the head of the running back, Ruiz, trying to work his way out of trouble, and he's down. Way back inside the 20. Well, maybe the 17. Might have been Jacob Nichols out there. If I'm reading that correctly. No, check that. Looks like Tristan Teeter. But that's a massive loss back to the 19-yard line. A loss of 15. It'll be fourth down and the Eagles to punt, approaching the 1 minute mark. And let's see, back deep to receive for the Beat Diggers. That is Nico Guzman. Kyler Churchwell to punt. That's a booming punt. Guzman will field it at the 47, dropped it, picked it back up, and then he's going to be taken down at the 46-yard line. And at this point, you run one play and the game is over. As the Beat Diggers do have the football in Wray territory. And a very convincing night for the Beat Diggers. Disappointing end to their season last year, even though they finished 12-1. But, you know, that 1 sometimes looms larger than the 12, Dave, even in a great season. But obviously this football team, they're back and ready to go.
Yeah, they're good. They got a good offense. Like we were saying earlier, just a lot of balance.
First and 10 for Brush at the Wray 46-yard line. Should be the final play of the game. Simmons will take a knee. And that should be it. I don't think the Beat Diggers have got to run another play. Second down and 11 from the 47. As we have 26 seconds to go in the game. And the Beat Diggers trailed early. But then it was all Brush after that. One more snap. For the Beat Diggers, Simmons takes another knee. And that is the end of the game. The final score tonight, Brush 50, Wray 23. We'll come back with a recap on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. John Beltran, Dave Urick back from Powell Field and Wray, where the Beat Diggers have won their regular season opener as Brush defeated Wray by a score of 50-23. Welcome to the Beat Digger post-game show, brought to you by Buildings by Design. The most important thing to buying a new building or starting a new design build project is picking the right company to build it. For a free bid, call Pat Walter or Travis Lefevre, 970-842-5837. You can visit them on the web at buildingsbydesign.com. All right, the Beat Diggers trailed early 7-0. Wray took the football in their opening possession, 10 plays, 70 yards in 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Cade Reinig scored from 10 yards out. Alec Ellis' extra point made it 7-0, but then the Beat Diggers came back on an 11-play, 61-yard drive in 6:09. It was Randy Baker scoring from 3 yards out. Kyle Rosenbrock with a 2-point conversion reception, and Brush was up 8-7. They would never trail after that, although the game would be tied at 1 point. Wray then came back on a drive that started at their own 20-yard line in the waning moments of the opening quarter, but 4 plays into that drive, Kyle Rosenbrock picked off a pass 47 yards the other way, and the PAT was good. The Beat Diggers up 15-7. Wray, though, would tie it. Moments later, it was a 7-play, 79-yard drive in 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Alec Ellis, a 5-yard run. 2-point conversion catch by Jaden Balco tied the game at 15. And then, with Brush tied at 15 with the Eagles with 6:48 to go in the second, following a nice kickoff return and a penalty. That was a kickoff return by Alec Peterson, placing the football at the Wray 44. 5 plays later in 2 minutes and 34 seconds, Randy Baker with a 29-yard reception. 22-15 was the score at that point, and that was the score going into halftime. Early in the third, the Beat Diggers had the football at their own 26 to begin the second half. 10 plays, 74 yards, in 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Kyle Rosenbrock with a 5-yard run, making it 29-15. And then Randy Baker would recover a fumble a couple of plays later. Brush would capitalize. A 10-play, 57-yard drive in 5:09. Baker with an 11-yard touchdown catch, making it 36-15. If that wasn't enough for the Wray Eagles to endure in the third quarter, Kyler Churchwell then fumbled on the ensuing kickoff. Alec Peterson recovered. Eddie Arribas then caught a 15-yard pass from Mitch Tormolen. PAT was good, 43-15 with 2:41 to go in the third. And the Beat Diggers kept going as early in the fourth, it was a 42-yard, 59-second drive. Jake Morrow with a 3-yard run. And 4 plays earlier, it was a Brett Bostrom block punt. Brush led 50-15, and then Wray would close out the scoring with a 10-play, 82-yard drive in 4:58. Austin Reed with a 22-yard touchdown reception. Kyler Churchwell with a 2-point conversion run. Beat Diggers win going away 50-23. Day before we name the Beat Digger player of the game and talk to head coach Randy Dreitz, let's go through the numbers for both teams.
All right, well, one of the biggest stats was the number of plays in the second half. Brush ended up with 29 plays in the second half compared to 17 for Wray. 55 plays total in the game compared to 45 for Wray. Brush basically shut him down. He had 263 yards total offense, but 207 of those were in the first half. So just 58 yards for 57 yards, and I'll tell you what, not a lot for Wray being able to be had. But for Brush, on the other hand, Rosenbrock carried the ball 20 times, 142 yards. Baker had 3 carries for 13. Eddie Arribas had 6 carries for 30 yards. Jake Morrow had 3 carries for 29 yards. Mike Gutierrez came in at the end of the game, had 4 carries for 28 yards. Then Conrad Cole had a carry for 3 yards. Mitch Tremolin, he carried the ball 5 times for 23 yards. He threw the ball 12 times, completed 6 of those for 85. His big receivers on the night, Jake Brown had 2 of them for 24 yards, and Baker had 2 of them for 40 yards. Rebates had that one 15-yarder, and Peterson picked up a 6-yard catch.
Beat Diggers balance when you look at the scoring, 22 points in the opening half and 28 in the second half, as we're joined by head coach Randy Dreitz. Coach, I know it got tight early. I mean, it was still tight at halftime, but what was the difference as you saw in your team between the first half and the second half, really particularly on the defensive side, because it looked like the offense clicked throughout the course of the game. You never punted. You had the one turnover with Tormolen throwing an interception towards the end of the first half. Really, it looked like the defense played a little bit better, and you took advantage of 2 turnovers in that third quarter.
Yeah, that was the big key, them having the turnovers and us capitalizing. That was huge in the second half for us. And, I think our kids just basically executed a lot better in the second half. When you practice against each other day after day like we have been, and, it's hard to emulate another team. And, our kids had to get used to, one, the speed of the game, and two, the toughness of the Wray kids and them coming off the ball. And I think it was we made adjustments at halftime for a few things, but the biggest thing was our kids came out the second half and executed a little better. And we did some motion things in the second half, which I was so tempted to throw the ball more this game because of what Wray was doing, but we were able to gain ground, and hats off to our kids. They just played really hard and ran the ball hard. Defensively, we shored things up a lot better in the second half. We changed a couple things at halftime, which helped, and Coach Creighton and the defense did a great job.
I mean, you've beaten teams in the past. This is your 13 years head coach by 30, 40 points, and some of those teams, many of those teams might win 3 or 4 games. I mean, you beat a Wray team, and I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised by season's end. Might be 6-3 or 7-2, a pretty good record going into the Class A playoffs.
Most definitely. Wray's a good football team. I told their coach, don't get your head down because this game was a matter of a couple turnovers here and there, and it made a huge difference in the game. And they're physical. Wray is always physical. They're well coached. I'm sure glad we came out with a victory. I was always worried about, especially coming to Wray. They're very tough at home, and we've got to make sure that you're ready to play them at home. And they've got some good players on their team, and I expect them to have a winning season and make it to the playoffs and do well.
Like you mentioned, the defense played better in the second half. Is it still hard, even after the game, to find something that was at fault with your offense, or do you have to watch film before you can determine that, since they were virtually flawless throughout the course of the night? Obviously, Eddie Arribas losing a couple of balls that were recovered. That's one thing he's got to clean up individually. But from a team standpoint, anything you could see that it could actually get better after game one offensively, since that's the goal, to improve each and every week?
Well, definitely. There's going to be things we need to improve on. It's always that way, especially the first week. I mean, one of the things I talked about at halftime offensively was, we're getting to our guy, but we're not moving the guy or sustaining our blocks. They're getting off of our blocks because, one, we're trying to be too high on them and not moving our feet. And, we're not the biggest team in the world. We've got to make sure we stay low, come off the ball low, and then keep moving our feet. So that's a big part of it. And, playing execution. We had a couple plays there that we did the wrong thing, and it cost us, and that's got to improve. And, those things are always going to happen in a game, but overall, we've got some talented players on our team that make the coach look good at times. So you're right, Eddie does need to hang on to the football, and he knows it. And it's just, he's been hurt so much I don't think he practiced much during two-a-days at all, and then he hasn't been in live competition too much either. I mean, he wasn't able to scrimmage with us because of being hurt, and so this was really his debut as far as too much competition. So it's adjustment for him, but he's going to be a good football player for us.
Jesus had a few deep kickoffs. Alec Peterson, a nice hit recovering a fumble. Brett Bostrom with a block punt. Could you give a special teams unit maybe close to an A, which is something that I know you don't like to give too high of a grade to begin the year, but especially in the second half as opposed to the first half?
Well, our kickoff game was pretty good. Jesus needs to get a little bit better at putting the ball where I asked him to put it, and he's really been good at that in the past. Tonight, he kept trying to kick it really hard, and it kept pulling to the left a little bit too much. And then the punt block was great. We had a punt block earlier in the game, and Peterson's back there. He's a young sophomore. He didn't get even hardly play last year. He hurt his arm the first game out of the block, so he's new in catching the ball back there. And he wanted me to know if I wanted to fair catch it, and I said, yeah, when we got punt block on, but he didn't have anybody in front of him for a while. He could have ran on that one, but that's all the learning process. But, those are all things we can coach and teach them to do a better job. But one thing is, it's really hard to coach these days is your kids putting out the effort that it takes, your kids not quitting, your kids working hard. And I'm so proud of Brush football for these kids, the way they have worked hard in two-a-days. And it just didn't start in two-a-days. This summer was tremendous turnout, lifting weights. And They've been busting their tails since the beginning of June and want to become a good football team. And we got great chemistry, I think, and kids feeding off each other. That injury bug is just, we've got to really watch that. We had some banged up kids tonight, and hopefully we'll be ready to roll next week. And, Brett Boston didn't play too much because he got kind of a pulled muscle, and then Carwin hurt his knee tonight. So we're hoping that he's going to be okay, and we'll be okay to go for Fort Morgan. And Fort Morgan's going to be one tough team next week, and they're going to be ready for us. And so I heard their score was 1-0, and so Fort Morgan's definitely going to be ready for us. And they're well coached. They're a good football team, and I think they're hungry for us.
Yeah, they won convincingly over the Bertha Spartans. Randy, congratulations on a great night and opening up the regular season in grand fashion for Brush.
Thank you.
Beat Digger head football coach Randy Dreitz as the Beat Diggers defeat the Wray Eagles tonight by a score of 50-23. I'll be rejoined momentarily by Dave Urick as Dave and I are doing this for the first time. The Beat Digger Player of the Game brought to you by T.O. Charlie's at 700 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. It will not be beat by anyone when it comes to price. They'll help you find a car that fits your needs and budget. If you don't see what you want, T.O. Charlie's will find it for you. Log on to T.O. Charlie's. That's TOCharliesFTM.com. TOCharliesFTM.com to view inventory, current specials, and apply for a loan online. Drive away with confidence. It's Drive Away with Confidence at T.O. Charlie's. All right, Dave, I just mentioned that for the first time. We are doing a Beat Digger Player of the Game, and it was certainly a tight race. I mean, Randy Baker had a tremendous game tonight. He had the 3 touchdowns, but you and I, we do this jointly, and tonight's Player of the Game is a Beat Digger sophomore.
Yep, I think Kyle Rosenbrock gets the nod. He not only did it offensively, but defensively had that pick that he ran back that kind of got us on our roll to begin with. And then not to mention there in the second half, they tried to run their option, the play that was kind of killing us. They started running it to the left side, and he shut that thing down. If he didn't make the tackle, he squeezed it down to where they weren't able to run that dive. And so I think Kyle Rosenbrock's definitely the player of the game.
Yeah, 20 carries, 142 yards, an offensive touchdown, a defensive touchdown. As you mentioned, even more contributions on defense. So congratulations to Kyle Rosenbrock. The T.O. Charlie's Beat Digger Player of the Game will be doing this week. We'll be doing this every week, obviously, during the postgame. All right. Replay is coming up. The final score once again tonight. The Beat Diggers defeat the Wray Eagles 50-23. We'll be back in action coming up on Friday night. The Beat Diggers will take on the Fort Morgan Mustangs, as Coach Dreitz mentioned, in Brush. Sound engineer of Brush Beat Digger football, as always, has been Rose Condis. Another great job tonight on the opening night of the 2012 season. For Dave Urick, I'm John Beltran. Final score once again. The Brush Beat Diggers 50. The Wray Eagles 23 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.